Right, welcome back. Okay, right, welcome back. So far in this fundamental concepts unit, we have been looking at how science works. We looked at variables, different types of graph. Now, whilst these are fundamental concepts, it was more just to get used to the videos. Now we're going to have a look at chapter 1. Now, chapter 1 is mainly just an introduction. There are several concepts which you covered at GCSE, which it recaps, and also just introduces some basics about chemistry. So please have a read through it in your own time, but I'm not going to focus on it too much. However, the next two videos, I'm going to look at what I think are the key points from chapter 1. Okay. In the next video, we're going to have a look at what a mole is, because it's very important you understand that concept before we move into the course. This video, we're just going to have a look at some of the key terms from chapter 1. Now, as you go through your textbook, there will be many key terms. Now, you should be learning these word for word, the ones which are defined as key terms. Whilst the words we're going to look at today, I can't remember them being asked about to define it. Many of the key terms during this course are asked, be it different types of enthalpy, things you will come across. And these are easy marks. It's just memory. Okay? So let's get on with it. Learning targets for today. Be able to describe the key terms from chapter 1 and be able to correctly use them with the aim to using them correctly in exam questions. So this is an activity that I give younger students, okay, when we're introducing the topic, but it's still relevant for you lot. Now, what I'd like you to do is to pause this video and see if you can put these pictures into 4 categories. Now, each circle represents a particle. When you have either filled in circles, stripy circles, plain white circles, that is just to represent that they are different types of particle. Okay? So pause it, take a minute, see if you can put them into 4 categories. Okay? Have you had a go at that? Great. Okay, these are the 4 categories I was looking for, the 4 vertical columns. Now, each of these columns represents one of the key words which I want you to learn from this chapter. Okay, now these are basically my basic definitions. They are not the AS ones. We're going to come on to them in a second. So don't write these ones down. It's just a link into the pictures. So atoms, very small particles, make up everything. You can see they're just the single circles. An element contains only one type of atom. So they can either be singular, like the first 2, or it can be more than one atom chemically joined together, so long as it is the same type of atom. Next one is compound. Now this is 2 or more different types of atom joined together. And molecule. Now, molecule has different definitions, different connotations, depending on which area of science you're in. Now, a basic definition I've given here is that it contains more than one atom chemically joined together. But we're going to have a look at molecules in more detail. But firstly, your AS level definitions. So as I said earlier, these are ones you should learn word for word, because they sometimes come up as 1 or 2 more questions in your AS exam. So, an atom, smallest uncharged particle of an element. Obviously, if it's charged, it's an ion. An element is a substance that cannot be broken down into 2 or more different substances because it's the same type of atoms. And a compound, very similar to what we've already said, is made of 2 or more elements chemically joined together. I would even say 2 or more different elements chemically joined together. Okay, so molecules. Like I said, you don't actually have to learn a word-for-word definition for what a molecule is, because it has different definitions depending on which area of science you're in. But what should you understand as a molecule? Well, first of all, like I already said, it is two or more particles, two more atoms, chemically joined together. But it has to have a finite number of particles. So what does this mean? Well, if you look at a couple of examples, first of all, if you look at CO2, carbon dioxide. Now CO2 has a finite number of atoms. It has one carbon atom per molecule, and it has 2 oxygens. So for each molecule of carbon dioxide, there are 3 atoms. And that is a finite number. Whereas if we look at something like NaCl, which is an ionic lattice, now technically this can go on forever. It can have potentially an infinite number of particles. You certainly don't know how many there will be. Therefore, there is not a finite number. You do not have a molecule of sodium chloride. So any of the large lattices, be it ionic, covalent, metallic, they are not defined as molecules because you do not know how many atoms are involved. Okay, so a nice short video this one. Hopefully you can describe the key terms from chapter 1, atom, element, compound, and also know what a molecule is. And hopefully your understanding will have developed enough so that you can use them correctly in your exam questions. Because in your AS questions, you will be expected to use these words in their correct sense and not interchange them. Molecule, compound. You need to get it right. Okay? If you're not sure about any of this, once again, look through the video again. And don't forget to fill in your notes and write down any questions you have for me for next class. Okay.